Awesome. Okay, hi everybody. This is Angela Anderson, and I've got my friend Carolyn Gore here with me today. And we're going to be showing you how to paint an owl, or I'm going to be showing you. Carolyn's going to be helping foster comments and questions. So if you have a question today, go ahead and type in on our chat line, and we'll try to answer it for you. If you noticed, I did a drawing yesterday. I posted it of this owl that we're going to be painting today. So if you want a little bit of extra help drawing him, you can check that out. Here he is, the one that I posted. And I think I'm going to go ahead. Whoops, my camera's pretty shaking there. I think I'm going to use him. He's pretty good size, I think. So we're going to try to fill up our space. I've got a 12 by 12 canvas, and my paint palette is Liquitex Basics acrylics. I've got black, purple, phthalo blue, bright aqua green, alizarin crimson, naphtha yellow, and if you don't have this color, you can use cadmium yellow and just add some white. And this is burnt sienna and white. Okay, so pretty limited, but it should be fun. We'll mix some colors, and I may do our color scheme a little bit different on our owl. Not real sure yet. We'll see when we get going here. So I'm going to set him aside. And before I start, I wanted to mention me and Cinnamon Cooney, the Art Sherpa, are going to be doing an event next time. It's in 2 weeks. Winter Painting Live with Angeluni. And November 21st, I'll be starting at 3 p.m. She'll be doing painting at 5 p.m. and they're going to coordinate palettes. I'll be doing a cardinal, and she's going to be doing a poinsettia. And there'll be a pre-show party with both of us at 2:30 on Cinnamon's channel. So be sure to check that out. It should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And there will be a Facebook group up on Monday. So if you follow my links on, I'll have it posted on my Facebook group page. And there'll be links to our special group for the winter painting event. So anyhow, let's get started with this today. I've got I think this is about 1-inch brush here. And I'm going to spritz down my canvas. And we're just going to do kind of a moon halo effect, sort of. I'm spreading out my water here a little bit. I'm going to pick up some white, figure out where I want my center of my moon to be. I think I want them up here in the top area. I may have put down too much water. I don't want it too watery because it's got to flow. Probably can't see what I'm doing here yet. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Okay. Then I'm going to pick up some phthalo blue and blend it with the white over here on this side. And you got to kind of work fast, so don't get too worried about blending this at this point. We're just going to blend it a little bit, take it to the canvas. Yeah, this is a little bit wet for my liking, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So get all of that blue off. I'm going to just dab this off a little bit. I got a little happy with my water there. And I'm going to pick up some more white and come back in and blend those out together. And just start making your circles. Just try to keep your edges, as you go out, just keep making a circle all the way out. Bigger and bigger circles, and if you go off the edge of the canvas. I'm going to get some dark blue in there because I want it to be fairly dark. I'm going to work that back in towards it. Here we go.
Hi, Andrea. Glad you came. Glad you're part of it.
Hi, Andrea. Okay, here we go. So just do long. Once I've got my paint down here, I'm just going to kind of press and just sort of blend it very lightly. I don't want to press too hard and lift my paint. Can you see that? Okay, and as I get toward the outer edges, I'm going to add a little bit of purple. So it's nice and dark out on these outer edges. And then keep picking up more paint. Work back in toward the center. Purple and blue are blending better. I just had too much water on my paint here. I'm going to go back in and blend that out a little bit, but I'm letting it dry just a little bit before I mess with it. So just try to kind of keep your circle going here. It's okay if you see some streaks. I kind of like that look. Doesn't have to be perfectly blended. Add a little purple down here. There we go. Oops, can't see what I'm doing. Carolyn, you need to let me know if I'm off camera there. Please.
Oh, I can't see it. It's over
Oh, you
here.
can't see it?
That's a 3-second delay.
Oh, okay. Well, we can move it if we need to. Okay, so that's good, I think. I can't tell, my light's hitting my... Okay. So I'm going to clean out my brush and then I'm going to go back in here and blend this out just a little bit more. Make sure you get all that blue out of there because you don't want any blue in your whites. Moon. There we go. And don't wait too long to do this. I'm only doing this because I had my water too thick, or my water too much on my canvas here, so you don't want to go back once this is dried and mess with it at all. But mine was still pretty wet. If yours is needing some more TLC and it's starting to dry, just go ahead and let it dry completely and come back to it. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I think I might add a little bit more white. There we go.
Cassie says hers is glitched. She can hear us, but she can't see what you're doing. It is stuck. We're telling her to refresh, hopefully. Oh, it's working now. Great.
Okay, good.
Continue.
Okay. I thought about doing one of these separate and letting it dry so that I could like pull it on like a cooking show, you know, like when they set it in the oven and bake it. But you kind of really, we're going to have to let this dry. So we'll, oops, let me see. I see some spots up here I want to mess with. Be real careful about messing with this at this point because it's starting to dry, so you don't want to lift off your undercoats, but I kind of think I like that. It's kind of, zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and do the sides. We'll do the sides. Sorry, that's not exciting, but that'll give us a chance for the front part to dry a little bit. Well.
Hi Mona and hi Kim Sim. Glad you guys are here.
If I was at home, you know, by myself, I would run my hairdryer, but I don't want to do that to y'all. It's pretty loud. There's literally a screw loose in my hairdryer that makes it rattle, so it's pretty darn loud. It was my old hairdryer. All my old hairdryers die and go to my studio. They get a new life in the studio and end up going to classes and all other kinds of other places with me. Okay, sorry, this part is not super exciting, but I definitely need to let that front part dry before we want to do anything else on it because We don't want it lifting when we put our owl. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of blue to my purple here, since we kind of have a little bit more purpley blue in this section. Any chat going on, Carolyn?
Lots of them are just saying hi. Kim Sim, Mona. A lot of them are glad to see Mona. She must be a well-known person. We're glad you're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Good deal.
Yeah, Stephanie, you're right. Wow, the gang's all here.
That's right.
Keep them coming. Got plenty of seats.
Free of charge.
Yeah. Cinnamon's awfully quiet.
Cinnamon and I had a 2-hour chat yesterday. She's like my BFF art friend. We have a lot in common. We could have talked for another 2 hours, I'm sure, if she hadn't had to go run and get her daughter.
Okay, Kim Sam, who is the Sherpa?
Cinnamon.
Oh, Cinnamon has another nickname.
Cinnamon's the art Sherpa.
She says, well, the Sherpa summoned me. Summoned us.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have some of Cinnamon's followers watching me today. That's awesome. She's amazing.
Kim Kajowski says hi.
Kim?
Yeah. I can tell you guys know each other by all the highs back and forth.
That's awesome.
I love it when a group can get together, have some fun.
Yeah.
Watch a tutorial video.
Yeah. I think our painting is going to be awesome for both of our channels.
Yeah.
We got a lot of
Yes,
crossover
was
fans
here earlier. I think she's off sharing right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's got a show to get ready for too later on today, I think, so.
Yeah. You're right, Kim Sim. She is everywhere. The Sherpa is alive and well.
I was teasing her the other day because I went and I searched for her on YouTube, and my autocorrect kept changing it from Art Sherpa to Art Sheep. I couldn't get it to put in Art Sherpa.
Andrea says she went to get some more sippy.
Awesome.
And Stephanie says, isn't the internet wonderful? She says, hey, Angela, we were yours first.
That's right. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, I think Mark and Stephanie have been with me from my very first live show. So,
yeah.
Long-time fans. It's awesome.
It feels like home, and Mark and Stephanie and people that have been with us for a while are here each and every week.
Yeah.
Family get together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gotta wash my hands off of her.
Art Exploration. Mark says, I really am loving the color. I would just hang that as is right now. I just love it.
Well, good. I like it. Yeah, I like it too. I like the purple with the phthalo blue. It's a really good combination. Okay, it is still really, really wet. So let's just talk about what we're going to do with our composition while this sets and dries. Oop. Okay, so if you did my owl drawing tutorial, if you caught that yesterday, I think what I'm going to do on this canvas is do similar to what I did here. Do our branch down low and then bring it up high here. If you don't want to do these curly cues, you could just do leaves all in through here. That's just up to you. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to run my hairdryer. I'm going to try to mute my mic so it's not so loud here, Carolyn. I'm going to hand that to you. Try not to touch it too much, but I'm going to have to dry this. I'm sorry, guys.
Get ready for the noise. won't last long. Hey, I have the mic. This is Carolyn, and I'm glad you guys are with us. We're just going to continue and have some fun. We're going to see all your owl pictures when you get them done. I believe Angela and Sienna are going to have a Facebook page to where it will be all art, and you can always share your artwork there.
Okay. Whew. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that loudness.
I know.
Here we go. We're gonna
Hopefully,
get back on it.
maybe I can edit that part out. So, hope that wasn't too loud for y'all. Okay, so let's sketch. I'm going to sketch with a chalk. Oh, thank you. Put my mic back on here and try not to touch it. I've just got regular school chalk here. I think that's dry. And I'm going to take it. I want my owl to be right in here. So I think I'll put my branch down, maybe down here.
Yeah, Mona says it seems owls is very in this year in Sweden.
Oh, good.
Yes, it's here in America as well.
It's been in. I'm kind of on the end of the bandwagon in America. I think it's been in for a while, but I've been having some requests to do some owls, so I've been wanting to do one anyways.
Witzel says, I think Angela's got first place for loudest hairdryer.
I do. That is the truth. Now you can see why I got rid of him and got a new one in my... Okay, so I'm going to do my branch coming out the end here.
It was kind of...
Pixelating a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to fix that later. I don't know. Then I'm going to come
have
up.
Been popular since the, 60s and 70s?
They have,
I
yeah.
remember my mom used to have them in her house. It was the big deal back then.
They've come back around. Okay, do your curly cues. Just do almost a circle shape and then just kind of follow it around toward the inside and try to stay about the same distance away from the edges all the way in. And I'm going to bring that one up here and then do another one up there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Well, you won't be able to see it too much against the yellow, sorry, but you'll be able to see it once we start painting it. Throwing a few leaves here. Just random. That one can't see at all. Okay, then our owl is going to take up all of this space here. So I think I want his head up here. And if you did your tracing, what you could do at this point, if you did your drawing and traced it out, you could set it down here and use some graphite paper, either white or black. I think either one would probably work fine on this, and trace it out onto your canvas. So if you don't want to draw with the chalk, do that now. Oh. I'm going to make his face a little bit bigger.
Said, this is my first live class. I did Angela's red tree tutorial and loved it.
Oh, good. Awesome, Sheree.
Wow.
Did you send me a picture of it? I can't remember. I'd love to see it if you haven't sent it yet. Okay, so I'm drawing in the face there. I may make him a little bit bigger. I want him to really stand out. I noticed in my drawing the head of my owl was a little bit small. And I didn't put this on my supply list, so if you don't have one of these, you can maybe go get one. They're not very expensive, but they're little paint daubers. They're in the stenciling department. And these are great. I thought they would be just about the perfect size for our owl eyes, and that way you don't have to paint in your eyes. If you don't have one of these, just paint it in. But if you want it, you know, your circles to be perfectly round. I use this with my kids' class all the time because they're really great to get perfect little circles. And then they also have a small one that you can use for the inside of the eyes too. So then our body is going to come in, back down, kind of almost straight down, and then our wings are going to be fluffy on the other side of him. I think that's good. Might have made him a little bit too far to this side, but that's all right. I think that'll be good.
Our exploration mark says you can get them at Walmart too.
Oh, good. Okay.
Everybody's got a Walmart.
That's right. Yeah, anymore, right? Okay, so that's all the sketching I'm going to do. I'm not even going to put his feet in because those will be easy. Just sketch in what the main color different areas. That's it. You don't have to sketch in your details right now. So I'm going to start with the face and put in, this is bright aqua green. And I'm not going to worry about the eyes right now. I'm just going to go ahead and cover those. And I've got I think this is about a 1/2 inch flat brush here. And go ahead and go around the beak.
They're all saying they saw Cinnamon say you were on live, had to come say hello.
Oh, great. Thank you.
The Sherpa is on the move.
Go Cinnamon.
Thank you guys for coming and watching and
Yeah.
sharing in with our family here too.
Okay, so once you get your color on, just kind of lightly smooth over any thicker areas. And if it doesn't cover all the way in one coat, we can just come back to it and put another coat on later, so don't worry about that too much. We'll make sure that I got that even with the other side. That looks about right. So clean that out. And then for the body of this owl, I'm doing burnt sienna with white. It'll make kind of a orangey brown color. Be good for our kind of a reddish brown. Probably about equal parts red or burnt sienna and white here. And just go ahead and fill in the body. This is our ugly stage. He's going to look awkward for a little while, so don't worry about that too much. We're just trying to lay in our color here so we can put our details in later. We're going to do some feather details with our Filbert brush and some lighter color. So don't make this color too light, because we want it dark enough for the highlight feathers to go over the top and be seen. So I might go a little darker on mine even. While this is wet, you can blend in some darker color maybe along the bottom here. Most of this is going to be covered up though, so just get color on here fast. And it's okay if it doesn't cover all the way, because we will be putting more details on top. So go fairly thick with your paint. It'll cover better if you have a pretty thick paint on your brush. And when I get close to the edges, I'm using I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm using the flat side of my brush. I'm just going to slide it. Oops, can you see it there? Slide it along so I can get a nice straight edge there, and then pull it down from there. Leave space for your beak to go. So get it close and slide it along like that, and then pull it down. Okay, that's good, I think. I'm just going to kind of blend out that darker area. When you're blending it with the wet on wet, just kind of do very lightly, and that'll help you not lift the color underneath. Oh, okay, let me zoom back out. Sorry, getting too close. There we go. Okay, so let's put in our branch now. And clean out that brush.
I want to mention more about this. We have a lot of cinnamon people on right now. Mention that again.
Okay, yeah, I will. Okay, I'm going to mix this burnt sienna with black. I'm just pulling off to the side of the burnt sienna and making a little area here to darken it up.
That's making me hungry. It looks like milk chocolate and now dark chocolate. Shoot.
We got a bunch of Halloween candy left over. You can go ahead in there and grab some. Okay, this is a number 4 brush. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of water here to it to thin it out just a little bit. This part can be kind of thick, but then when we get up to this part up here, when you're trying to do some details, you might want to add a little bit more water to your brush. I'm going to switch to my closer up glasses here. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm coming right up against the bottom of his body here, and then we're going to put our little 3 little talons, or whatever they're called, claws, I guess, on there later. So as I go out, I'm just thinning out the thickness of my branch a little bit. So just press down a little bit lighter on your brush, and I'm going to add some more water to my paint to thin it out so that it's easier to work with, and twist my brush to a point so I get a good fine point on it. And you can get some nice fine lines that way. Keep on working your way up here. Got enough water in your paint there, it'll, whoops, I don't know how that happened there. Just thicken that out a little bit. You should be able to do that whole curve with just what's on your brush there if you get enough water in your brush, in your paint here, if you get it the right consistency. You don't want it to be see-through, but you definitely need it a little bit thinned out so that it can move.
I see you got distracted, Witzel, with the name of the word chocolate. Chocolate. Did somebody say chocolate?
And when I did this with my kids class, if you're doing this with a child, what you can do for this branch part, some of these detailed areas, is use a Sharpie. And they do a little bit better with the Sharpie, it seems like, than with the brush sometimes, especially with these details like this. So that's just a thought. And they have Sharpies in all kinds of different colors, so you can do this dark brown branch with the whole branch with the Sharpie if you want to. Or a permanent marker of some sort. Just make sure whatever marker you use is a waterproof marker, because you don't want it to smear later if you get paint on it. There we go. I'm just holding my brush real close up so that I get good control on it. Alright, so I think that's good. I think some of these darker areas here I want to do a highlight, so I'm going to pick up some of this. I'm not cleaning out my brush, I'm just picking up some of this burnt sienna mix from the body, and I'm going to go along the top edge of my branch here and just add a few little highlights along the top edge. And this paint is still wet mostly, so it's kind of going to blend in and look really cool.
The mention of chocolate has got these artists going. A whirlwind of
I love it.
candy. So, yeah.
I'm a dark chocolate girl all the way. You know what? My husband and I we went on a trip to France back in 2004, and we bought ourselves some really expensive, nice chocolate and from the grocery store, and we got like the darkest chocolate we could find. It was like 90-something% dark chocolate. I think it was maybe 99%. I don't know. Anyhow, we were just like, this is going to be so awesome. And we got back to the hotel and we ate that chocolate. We took one little bite of it. It was so bitter. It was like dirt. We couldn't eat it. Oh, like, what were we thinking? You got dark chocolate with no sugar in it. Is super bitter.
Yeah.
So we kind of learned the hard way there. That was so funny. We thought we were so sophisticated. We were going to eat ourselves some French dark chocolate. Okay, I think that's good. I'm not going to fuss with it too much. And if you want to put some more leaves, in fact, I think I want to put another leaf in here, maybe this way. Maybe one more up there. There. I don't want to cover over my moon too much, so I think that's good. And you notice that when I do these chalk lines, they're kind of just an estimation. If you can see there, I didn't actually use my lines there. Once I got to painting it, I realized that I wanted it a little bit not so tight in here, so I just kind of, once you're painting, you can kind of see sometimes your sketch might be off a little bit, so don't worry about that, because all this chalk will erase off. So if you don't go by your chalk lines, don't worry about it. Okay, let's see. I think I'm going to do the wings. This is starting to dry here, but it's still a little bit wet, so let's go ahead and work on our wings. We're making good time.
Well, they're all happy. The chocolate deal is dying out a little bit. We get so distracted.
Okay, so I'm going to use the, oops. Alizarin crimson and a little bit of purple. The alizarin crimson is a very transparent red, so you'll want to add a little tiny bit of white to it to make it more opaque, and that way it'll cover our wings. And I've just added the purple to make it a little bit more of a plum color. So I wanted to go for some fall colors here. I'm going to turn this a little bit so I don't put my hand in my wet paint here. And I've switched back to my 1/2 inch flat. I'm just going to use the edge here to fill in my wings. It's still a little bit transparent. May have to add a little bit more white. What's going on?
Okay. It's kind of blew up. Apparently Mona has access to chocolate.
Uh-oh.
And Art Exploration Mark says he'll send her some fish if she'll send him some chocolate.
Don't do it, Mona.
We're making deals.
That does not sound like a fair trade at all, Mona. I would not do it.
No.
That sounds pretty hanky to me. Fish for chocolate.
Cinnamon says Dr. Oz says so. It must be true. At least he's getting paid to say so.
Okay, there we go. Oh, Cinnamon's back.
The Sherpa.
Awesome. Okay, well, we've got a few people that weren't watching. We've got a few more people that weren't watching the beginning of this show. So I want to mention that Cinnamon and I are going to be doing a collaboration in 2 weeks. It's going to be a winter paint-in live event. We both do live shows, so we thought we'd collaborate, and we're going to be doing 2 paintings with similar palettes so that you could do both and hang them side by side. Mine's going to be a winter scene with a cardinal on a snowy branch, and Cinnamon's going to be doing beautiful poinsettia flowers. So, and our color schemes are going to match, so we can, like I said, they'll be coordinating. You can paint them both and set them side by side. And that'll be November 21st. And we're calling our collaboration Angeloony.
Not the Looney Tunes.
No. I'll have that fits. Was I off camera there? No, I was okay. All right. So I'm real excited about it. So my show's at 3 and her show's at 5, so it worked out perfectly. We'll just kind of piggyback. And we'll have a little pre-show party at 2:30 on Cinnamon's channel. That's November 21st. So we've got a Facebook group that we're going to be creating and putting up on Monday. So if you want to try to catch that and be part of the group, and join the group, and then you can chat with each other before the show and get information and post your pictures if you've done our paintings after the show.
Yes, chocolate is always a good subject.
Okay, so I'm using the same color with the Alizarin crimson, a little bit of purple and white up here for the top of his head.
Oh, it's all. So they're asking, so you have a Facebook or Instagram?
Yes, my Facebook page is in my description. So if you want to go there, the link is right there in my description of this video, and then, or any of my videos. It should be in the description of all my videos. And then my Instagram, I'm not sure if I listed my Instagram. It is Angela, well, actually I've got a new one. It's called Thankful Art. So just hashtag that. I'll actually add that to my description. I need to add that anyways. Okay, so I think that's good. It's a little bit see-through-y, but that's all right. We're going to put several other layers over the top, so that won't matter too much. I'm going to let that sit, and we'll put in our leaves. Let our colors dry. This body is just about dry. I know the face is dry, so that's good. I'm going to switch back to my number 4 brush, and we'll paint in our leaves with, we'll make some different greens. I'm going to use this aqua green, add some blue to it to deepen it up a little bit. And then I'm going to add some yellow. That'll make it kind of a, just a little bit darker green. And then we'll twist your brush, come back in here and fill in your leaves. And if you have a green that you prefer, you can just use that. You don't have to mix your own green if you've got another color of green you want to use. That's fine. I like using these greens that I've mixed because I know that they're going to actually match my color scheme. You could even use the aqua green for your leaves if you don't want to mix your colors. In fact, I think I'm going to use aqua green for one of these up here. I'm going to add some more of it so they're not all matchy-matchy. Maybe add a little bit of that to this one too.
Mona's in Sweden.
Oh, wonderful. Oops.
No, it's 10:40.
In Sweden?
There.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Way to hang in there, Mona.
Thanks, Mona. Yeah, we usually have several UK area or European watchers during the live show, so I was hoping that doing it a little bit later at 3 wasn't going to lose all of them, so I'm glad that you joined us, Mona. Okay, I'm going to add some yellow to that and make kind of a more of a brighter color, and then add just a little bit of white too.
Yeah, Minion 22 says it's 21:40 here in London.
Oh, wow. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little swipe of highlight color to my leaves. That may be a little too bright. We'll see if we can knock it down a little bit. There we go.
Thanks for joining us, Korean Eye Candies. Come back when you can.
Do I need to zoom in on this, or is this good enough where it's at here? I wonder. I'm trying to put my highlights facing the moon, so you might just pay attention to that when you do yours. It's really, this one would be highlighted down here now that I think about it. Oh well. I'll do that down here too. I'm picking up a little bit more white. I'm just going to put a little bit of really bright white here and there. I'm just barely touching it down. There we go. Okay. So that's pretty much it for this part. I think I'll let that sit. Once this is completely dry, after you can use a light towel, a damp cloth, and just kind of lightly brush off our chalk marks, but it's too fresh right now. The paint hasn't cured, so I would let it set and cure for a little while before you try to wipe it off. I've done that too many times and wiped off my paint. Okay, I think I'm I want to add just a little bit of this color, this darker green color, to the cheeks of our owl. And I'm just using my large flat brush, and I'm picking up the paint just on that corner right there. And I'm just going to come along the edge here. Kind of brush it in there and then wipe it off. And then just lightly kind of blend it out. Okay. You just don't want any like hard lines. So you want it, it's close enough to our base color that it shouldn't be too noticeable. I'm going to hold it up here while I see. I was getting some shadows on there that I didn't see. Okay, there we go. Okay, can you see that? So I'll do it again. I've got a clean brush. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that dark green along the corner of my brush. I'm going to set it the dark edge right along the outside and run it along. This is kind of like floating. If you are a decorative painter, you know that term. I'm just not adding a lot of water to it at this point. I'm just sort of using it to blend. And if it's not going on really easily for you, you can add a little bit of water to it. And I'm taking a clean brush that I've wiped clean of paint, and I'm just blending it back out a little bit, very gently. Might even put some dark up here. Okay. If you mess it up, paint it back over with that. It's a nice thing about acrylics. You don't have to worry too much about it. Nothing can't be fixed. So I'm going to do a little bit more on this side. Well, no, I'm going to leave it. It's a little bit darker on this side, but that's all right. Okay, let's do the fun part. This body part is really fun. You're going to want a Filbert brush for it. And look at my hands. We're going to do kind of a blended color and work our way from the bottom up and overlap our brush strokes a little bit. So I'll show you what you do. You pick up, we'll start with some white and some yellow, I think. That'd be good. Go ahead and mix yourself up a good little puddle of it, because you don't want to have to stop to reload or to remix your color. So I'm going to do a little section here that's got your light yellow. And then once you've got that light yellow in your brush loaded, go ahead and press it flat so that it's nice and flat. You don't want it too thick, but you're going to work fairly thick for this technique. So you'll just kind of, as you go, you'll be able to get a feel for it. You can practice on paper if you want to. So once you've got this yellow on your brush, you'll pick up just a little bit of white on the very tip, or whatever other color you want is your accent color. And I'm just going to start right in the middle here. And I'm going to set it down. I'm going to zoom in so you can see really good what I'm doing here.
Jenna's Life 101. She's asking if you're the one who did the red oak tree.
I did.
Which you are.
Yes.
So that was beautiful.
Thank you.
She says, where did you learn how to draw? It's amazing.
I learned how to draw in college. Was my best art teacher. I started drawing in high school, but I had a really good college professor that helped me learn to draw. Okay, and there's a book called Drawing on the Right Side of Your Brain that's excellent if you want some drawing practice. It's got a lot of good little things you can learn how to draw. Okay, so I'm setting my brush down with the rounded point toward the bottom, and I'm going to press it down a little bit and then flick it up. Press it down and flick it up. I'm leaving just a little bit of space in between my brush strokes because I don't want to cover over all of that. That's probably, if you start seeing that where it's breaking up too much, then you just need to reload. So pick up a little bit more yellow and just a little tiny bit of white on the tip. And dab it off just a little bit, but this way. There we go. We're going to come back in with some green also, but this is going to be our first layer. So pick up your yellow, pick up a little bit of white on the tip. This is not showing much of a contrast because these yellows and whites are pretty similar, but that's okay for now. Then you're going to go, your second layer is going to go right in between your first one. And if you've got a little empty space, just do a little bit bigger one there that kind of fills in that gap. Okay? Keep on going. This is super fun. Once you get the rhythm of it, it's really fun. You can go pretty fast. Well, I kind of should have done that a little farther over. And I'm overlapping a little bit over here too. I'm going over the top of my purple just slightly. Every about 4 or 5 feathers you'll probably want to reload. And this is not perfect, but you kind of want to keep your, I'm going to need to turn this so I can see if I'm keeping my rows even here. I had them sideways, so that's good. Whoop, there we go. Pick a little bit more yellow, a little bit more white. Probably could have just done yellow straight and then the white. But, okay, let's do one here. You don't want them too crowded. You just want to be able to, if you've got an area like that, just kind of touch it off there. Go. Okay, so I'm going to keep on going here. I'm talking too much. I want these a little bit taller. I'm going to pull them up a little bit more, just a little bit. Okay, so my next row, there we go. Yellow, a little bit of white.
Stephanie says you're not talking too much. They enjoy listening to your thought process.
Oh, good. Okay.
While the guys went back on to chocolate. Cinnamon says those are awesome belly feathers.
Isn't that fun? I love doing these. This Filbert brush is so much fun for these. I'm going to make these a little bit longer. I feel like I'm getting them a little crowded. I'll give them a little more space to breathe. The trickiest part is the edges here. You just kind of need to sometimes maybe make one a little bit bigger or maybe make one a little bit smaller, just so that your edges kind of still keep your shape. So this one is going to be smaller, and then this one is going to be a little bit bigger on that side. Because you do want to keep them in between if you can. Just looks a little bit better. Like that. It's getting a little slanted, so I'll work him back up straight a little bit on this next row. There we go. Almost done. It's pretty bright. We may decide that we want to do a wash over his bottom part of his belly to darken him up later. We'll see if this dries in time. We'll do that probably. If your brush is starting to get sticky, you can clean it out at this point. It may need to be reloaded if you're having trouble maintaining your shape. There we go. Okay, so now this row is tricky. We'll just do a little bit. Try to get it close, but don't overlap his face if you can. Just barely drag it up. There we did. We fit it. Do another little one right there. Another one right there. Okay. Alrighty, let me zoom out. Whoop. Camera. There we go. Cute. He's got a golden belly.
I all like the belly feather technique.
Isn't that fun? Okay, so while we still got our filbert out, let's go ahead and do our side feathers along the sides of his wings here. And in my example, I played with a lot of different colors. You can see there's several different layers here, and tried with green and blues and different ones, but I felt like just because the background was so dark, I kind of needed a kind of a lavender colors to show up best. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the purple, and make myself a lavender. And I may decide to pick up, I think I'm going to pick up some of this body, the feather color too. So just play with it. You could do it in yellow if you wanted to also. That's good. I didn't want it too muddy. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the alizarin to make it a little bit more purpley.
Yeah, Kim Sim says it looks like shiny pennies.
Oh, it does look, yeah. Pretty. Okay. You just want it bright enough to show up against this these feathers here, and I'm going to do similar to this. But this time I'm going to hold my brush at the side here. Let me zoom in again. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to set it down and drag it, and just do several feathers like that, and leave some space in between them. Okay, and I'm going to pick up some more. Do it again. I'm setting it down this way instead of this way. And I'm going to go in between my feathers that I did before. There we go. This one I couldn't do in between because I did him too close to that one. But I'm just going to keep on. I like that color. I think that's good. We'll keep with that. We'll stick with that. Worked out. So just kind of go in between in your empty spaces here as you work your way up your wings. Whoops. Was a little too far down, sorry. And I actually might pick up a little tiny bit of white just for the tip of it. That might look nice.
Because why does your white look beige? Have you mixed something with it?
No, I haven't. It's probably just the camera lighting. I picked up a little bit of white. I'm going back in here, and yeah, I like the little, needed a little highlight there. There we go. Okay, so let's keep on going with this. So I'm mostly this purple color that we mixed, and then pick up a little bit of
that is.
this white here. It is actually white. It must be the shadows making it look.
Yeah, Witzel says it does look creamy color.
Really? Huh. No, it's straight up white.
Does anyone know the best colors to mix to make a gold color?
Gold? I would use the like a burnt sienna or a raw sienna. Raw sienna is a great gold on its own. If you have that, you can add a little bit of yellow to it. It'll make a perfect gold. Raw sienna and yellow will also make gold variations. So okay, keep on going. Just follow the natural outline of the wing here. Okay, forgot my white. There we go. Okay, we'll do it on this side, and then I'll zoom out so you can see our little wings. Oops, I got a little too much white on that. I don't want it so obviously white. Just get a little tiny bit on the tip. And you can go ahead and outline, overlap your outside edge a little bit too, to give him a little bit of a fluffy edge to his wings. It's cold out. He's all fluffed out. Mm-hmm. Mark, my husband, we had an owl in our yard the other day. He got in his car in the morning, and our cat Oliver was staring up in a tree, and Mark he'd heard the owl, but he thought it was just somebody messing with him, because it sounded so like perfectly enunciated. It was like hoo hoo hoo, it just sounded like a fake, I don't know. And so he just thought it was one of the kids messing with him. But then when he saw Oliver staring up into the tree, he got out of his car, and that owl swooped down and flew right across the yard right in front of him. It was like really cool. Oops, I hope I didn't. I think I did some off camera there, sorry. Let me zoom back out. There we go. Oh, he's all fluffed out. Cute.
Yeah, Mr. Victor Crafter says, I increasingly admire.
Thank you, Victor. Okay, so for our forehead here, I think I also want to do the same color up here. So while we've got that wet on our palette, I've switched to number 4. This is just a smaller area. It'll be easier to control. I'm going to roll it to a point, pick up a little bit of that white, and I'm going to do straight up and out. Oops, he's pretty white. I don't know if I like that. I'm going to go back over with some.
Mr. Victor Crafter says it's now midnight where he's at.
Oh, wow. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm just doing kind of a little fuzzy detail on the top of his head there. And then I'm going to get some yellow. I haven't cleaned out my brush, probably should. Well, yeah, let me go ahead, because the yellow and purple will make brown. Don't want that. Or make a gray or something.
Yeah.
Not what we want.
Oliver is their cat.
Yes, oh sorry, did I not say what Oliver was?
He's a great hunter.
He is the mighty hunter of the yard, for sure. I'm surprised the owl didn't want him for a snack. I think it would have been an epic battle, for sure. He probably could have taken that owl, never known. I'm just going to outline his crest here with a little bit of the yellow to really make it pop. Okay. All right, so now we've got the beak and our little feet, and we're about done. I think I want to do a few more little touch-ups, but we're getting close to the end here. Let's make our beak color. Yeah, I'm going to do his eyes here. I think I want, yeah, let's go ahead and do his eyes first, and then we'll put on our little detail around his eyes. Guess I'm going to get a fresh plate because I don't want any other colors getting in on this, and put out some of my Naples yellow. And I've got a little sponge brush here. I'm going to put my brush back and dampen it, but it should not be sopping wet. Just kind of get it a little bit damp. Run it through your paint and make sure there's no paint kind of stuck on the edges there. You can run it sideways. And just make sure it's covered the whole thing, but you do not want it super thick so that it's kind of clinging off to the side. So kind of just be careful when you're loading it. Okay, I had it here there. If you don't have one of these paint daubers, what you can do is just chalk in your eyes and paint them in. But this just makes it really fast, easy, especially for kids. I'm going to set it down right where I want my eye to go. Set it down and kind of just twist it in place a little bit. There we go. Do it one more time. Go. Make sure I got them separated about the right. Let me see. It's about right, I think. Okay, so now I've got that on there. I'm going to use my number 4. And just smooth over it a little bit. Probably going to need 2 coats of this, so that's okay. Because we're going to do our outline of the eye with this brush. We're going to kind of do a little bit of a daisy or like a scalloped edge around the eyes. So I'm just kind of smoothing this out a little bit so that it dries evenly. You don't have to do that. It kind of was making a funny texture and I didn't want that to dry with the texture on it. Of course, if you're doing this with kids, they're not going to care, so you can leave this step out. Okay, that's good, I think. Clean out my brush. We'll put in our beak and our feet, and then we'll come back and mess with the eyes a little bit more. Give it a chance to dry a little bit. So for our beak color, if you've got an orange you want to use, or if you want a brighter orange than I've got, in mine, you can mix up some cadmium yellow with this or alizarin. It'll make a little bit more vibrant orange, but I'm just using the colors on our palette. It'll work out, I think.
Yeah, they all love that sponge technique.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Makes it super easy to do stuff like this.
I think I could tell you in everybody's yard what's in there. What's in their yards. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Since you told your story.
Oh, the owl. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All the woodland creatures that are coming out.
Because it's deer season also.
Oh, yep.
All animals are running and hiding.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to put in some burnt sienna because it doesn't seem like it's covering very good. I want it nice and dark along this bottom edge. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in to make sure it's really showing up against my green there. And then I'll probably come back in with a highlight color here. But it just didn't seem like it was showing up very good. So, okay, now we can come back in with some of this. Maybe add a little bit more yellow to it. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we'll use this color down here for our feet too. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and do a little decorative painting trick, and we'll leave this color, this orange in our brush, and we'll run it through on one side the burnt sienna, on the other side we'll run it through the yellow. And we'll see, oops, so I got some green in there. I'll get that out of there.
Okay guys, we got a trick coming up. Here we go.
So I've got the orange, I've got burnt sienna on one side, and the yellow, if I can get the yellow without the green in it, there on the other side. There we go. So we'll put on our feet. Zoom in. I'm going to have 3 feet here, so I'm going to turn my thing so my highlight side is toward the moon. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's do them right here. Set it down, pull it. There we go. 2, 3. You got an instant highlight that way. You don't have to go back and fuss with it later. Okay. All those years of decorative painting pay off sometimes.
3 little strokes.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, was that off camera or no? Okay. There we go. You showed it? Okay, good. I think when I picked it up, I took it off camera. I was afraid I messed it up. There we go. Oops, there's his feet. All right, you zoom back out. Okay, we're almost done. I definitely think I want some shadowing on his body here though. And this is dry now, so I think I'm going to go back in with my Filbert again. And I want to add just a few little green. I want to pull this green down into the body just a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of green. I'm going to load the yellow and then pick up a little bit of green on the tip. So it's a little bit of a lighter color. It's not quite the same. It's a little bit lightened down version. And this time I'm not going to do the whole feather. I'm just going to barely touch it and barely drag, just almost dry brushing a little bit of color over the top of some of these feathers, especially at the bottom here. Maybe along the sides, like it's a little bit of a shadow. And I think I might do that. Let me zoom in so you can see it better. There we go. Okay. So it's just kind of like that. I think let's do some... No, I think that's good. We'll just leave that. You could get creative with it, and you could do some red or some other colors too if you want. But this is just like a very light dry brush. Don't have a lot of paint on my brush, and I'm barely touching it down just to kind of drag a little bit of color on those feathers to give it a little bit more interest. Okay, you could do this on here if you wanted to. I think that's good. I want to go back in and put some detail around my eyes now. How are we doing on people? Everybody hanging in there? We got an hour and 15 minutes we've been going, so we're doing good on time, I think. We're almost done. I think around the eyes, I did mine in light blue on my example, but you can't really see it very well against that green. So I think I'm going to do a pink color. So I'm going to take that alizarin crimson, find a clean spot if you can, and pick up some white. Let's do a nice pink. That would be nice. Okay, roll your brush to a point, and then I'm going to just go around. I'm going to push my brush sort of flat. I have my round brush, but I'm sort of using it like a flat right now. I'm going to push a little bit of flat, and I'm just going to set it down and curve it out just a little bit. Set it down and curve it out, and then fill in if you miss a spot. Keep it fairly thick because you want it to cover in one coat. You don't want it to have to go back in and mess with this. So, yeah, I think I like that color, maybe. I don't know. What do you think, Carolyn? Yeah,
they're saying the close-up camera angle works perfectly.
Good. Good. Okay.
The conversation on here changes from every few seconds. Kind of like a big family when you go into
We're
a living room.
We're a bunch of artists, you know.
Yeah. Well, you go into a big room with all your family, and they all got 100 conversations going.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's great.
Yes.
So it's just like
love
family.
that.
Good thing is they can watch this when things get uploaded and do this.
They want to try it themselves. Yep, absolutely. If you want to draw this out ahead of time, if you're worried about your spacing, and you can do that with chalk or transfer back on your drawing design at this point if you need to. Worked out good. We got it all the way around pretty evenly, I think. There we go.
So what brand
I don't know, that
paints
purple
are
is a
you
little bit bright.
using?
I'm using Liquitex Basics for this. So, but if you've got regular Liquitex, all these colors should come in the regular Liquitex too, or another brand. But they're heavy body paints. Is what you want. The craft acrylics just don't really do these kind of blending techniques that we're doing today. They just don't work for them really well. So I'm going to do the same thing here that I did. I'm going to go on either side of that beak with my first two scallops, and hopefully I won't cover too much of him up. I'm going to turn this. I'm having a hard time getting the right angle. I know we had a debate on Cinnamon's last live stream about easels versus sitting at a table and having your canvas flat. I'm of the flat variety. I know easels are better for your posture, but I can't seem to paint at an easel very well. I have a hard time because I like to turn my art like this and get painting. I find that painting right to left, kind of like what your natural writing style would be, is easier. So if I can turn my painting so that I'm painting right to left, it's so much faster.
Yeah, they're asking what page on Facebook Angela would like the owls posted. Personal one, or maybe the collaborative one with you and Cinnamon. Which one?
It'll be on my personal one, the owls. This particular project, or next week's project, or then
like the owls posted.
Yeah, the owls will post to
Say it.
to my Facebook page, which is
Artistry.
the link is there in the description if you'll go down.
Oh, okay.
Just there you go. Yeah, just go down. It's down below the description of my.
What? This one?
No, keep going. Here, just scroll. Okay. Nope. It's Angela Anderson Fine Art at Facebook. So facebook.com/Angela Anderson Fine Art. That's where this will be posted.
And where you can post your pictures.
Yes, and where you can post your pictures, yes. And
so you just look on Facebook for Angela Anderson's Fine Art.
Yes.
That's where you can post it.
Okay, there we go. Let me zoom out. I think I want to add some of this pink to some other places since it's a new color and we don't have it anywhere else. So I think I'm going to add it as a little detail along these purple feathers. Just some of it so that I usually like to use each color at least 3 times or in 3 different places. It just gives my paintings, like, unifies them a little bit. I mean, sometimes you can't always do that, and sometimes it's not appropriate, but it's a good rule of thumb just to kind of make sure your paintings sort of all gel. There we go. Add a little bit of that. We'll also add it up here at the top. A little bit of pink. Okay, so we're about done. We're going to need a little bit more detail on our eyes, and I think they're about dry, and I'm going to go ahead and put my highlight on my beak, which was that yellow color from our feet there. We want it to match our beak, so I'm going to do along the top and side here just a little bit of a highlight. And then I'm going to grab this orange from our beak and just come in and dab back over that just a little bit to blend it. Okay. All right, there we go. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and use let's use that dark purple color around the eyes. You can leave this part out, especially if you're doing this with kids, because it might be too difficult. You could leave the scallops around the outside out too. But I'm just going to outline it just a little bit. Give a little bit more definition. I'm using that same purple that we used on the wings. This dark purple color. And I've got my number 4, but you could use a liner brush if you want to. Just very gently run that around. Because you want it fairly thin. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. And I might do another coat of the yellow on there, but for time's sake today, I think I'm just going to skip that, and we'll go and do our eyes. And I did it in black first, but then I found it was kind of harsh because we don't have any other black in our painting. So let me see. That might be too big. Let's use a brush. I was debating whether I was going to use the brush or I've got a brush here that's got a large back end that's almost flat. It's a little bit rounded, but it's mostly flat. And I think I'm going to use that with my black. And actually, if you have a craft paint is better for dots. So I think I'm going to switch to a thinner paint. Where is my black? There it is. There we go. Okay, so see how that's a little bit more viscous. It'll make a dot real easily. Okay, I'm going to dot it off once so it's not too thick. And then I'm going to find the center of my eye here. Oh, and I also wanted to add some white to it. Now that I almost forgot. I'm going to add just a little bit, just a tiny bit of white. Just to cut it so it's not quite so dark, in your face dark, black. There we go. Oh, that's like nails on chalkboard, isn't it? Sorry. Okay, so I've got a dark gray mixed here. And let me clean that off because it's sticking to the sides. You want it to be perfectly round. So dab. You definitely don't want to have to do this over, so load it carefully. Try it over here, see if it goes round. It's not, still not doing a circle. May not have enough paint in there. Still not doing a circle. There we go. Okay. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Set it down right in the middle of my eye, and then if you need it a little bit bigger, you can just run it in a circle gently. There we go. Pick up some more. Set it down. And this is where you can correct your eyes. If you got one of these up high, you might want to put your, pay attention to where your other eye is, these pupils, as long as they're even, it'll even out everything else visually. I think that's good. All right, and then we'll do the same thing with a little bit of white. We'll pick up a little bit of white and use a smaller brush to dot off a little highlight in each one of our pupils. Make sure that they're about the same size and about the same area there. If you want to do any special details in the eyes itself, you can let this dry and then use your liner brush and do if you wanted to do some spokes in it or something else. But I think that's good for today. I think I'm happy with it. Hope you've enjoyed this project. It's been really fun. Thank you so much for joining me today for a little owl. He's really fun. And let me, I think I do want to do one more thing. Let me show you on here with my wet, I'm going to wet down my flat brush. I think I'm going to pick up some of that burnt sienna color. Just a little bit. Wet it down pretty good. Pretty well. And then I'm going to use it just, and I have it mainly on the corner here, and I'm going to use it just to darken up. Yeah, I think it needed it a little bit darker right there. So just, you can leave this part out if you don't want to. Just darken that up, and I think I might even use it on here a little bit too. It'll just give him a little bit of a shadow for the bottom of his belly there. Set it in a little bit. Okay, I promise we're done.
We're all thanking you
That's
for
it.
your teaching.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching today. Appreciate it. Please subscribe and share this with your friends. And if you do this project, I'd love to see it. You can share it on my Facebook thing.
And come back for the
Yes,
special.
and be sure to come back in 2 weeks for my Winter Paint In Live with Cinnamon Cooney, the Art Sherpa. It'll be Angeloony.
All the art stalkers will be there.
That's right. Thanks for joining me today.
Guys.
Bye, guys.